Hey loves, and welcome to Heart Love Messages. My name is Crystal. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you are already subscribed here, welcome back. So tonight I have a spiritual guidance message for the collective. I will be pulling from this deck here just to see what are the most important messages that your guides may have for you at this time. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get a very clear and concise message from your angels, your ancestors, spirit guides, and your higher power, okay? Okay, so the first message that we have is blind spot. And upon pulling this card, I keep hearing the word intuition over and over. So whoever you are very, very spiritually inclined. You have an intuition that doesn't miss. So you may already have an inkling that something in your energy field is different. You could also know exactly what's about to come out in this reading because this energy feels incredibly personal. Anytime this card comes out, this is a very, very serious energy because your guides want you to know that something is sitting directly in your blind spot. And I keep getting that you already know this. Almost as if you asked for a very specific type of guidance. So this could be pointing to something that you prayed about recently or just a very specific intention that you set. And your guides are really adamant about you spotting this or identifying this because it's directly tied to something you recently asked for or something that you prayed about. And they want to make sure that you get it. So this definitely has to be addressed. And this can manifest in many different ways. But I'm getting that when it comes to the way that your intuition works, there's something here about your body that's being highlighted. So this is also tapping into the way that your guides communicate with you. Again, this energy is already very, very personal. Because again, there's something sitting directly in your blind spot, and it's almost like your body is trying to send you signs. Maybe you've been feeling really tired or your sleep pattern is off. Maybe you're beginning to feel cautious or you're beginning to second guess yourself or your actions. And this is not your normal energy. This is not your normal disposition. I just got that clearly. So if you have been picking up on this, it's only because your spiritual team is sending you signs to help you identify whatever this is. And they're coming through extremely strong with this first card, almost as if they want you to know that this is not your normal energy, okay? And there are many ways that this energy could be unfolding. This could be a more spiritual experience, or for some of you, this could be something that's happening in your immediate environment. Let's get the next message here. Wow. The next message that we have is 999. And I just heard very, very clearly, it's over. Yeah, that was extremely clear. And it was also very blunt. This is why your spiritual team is sending you signs, because once you identify whatever this is sitting in your blind spot, it's going to bring a very sharp, blunt ending to something. So this is deep. Whatever you asked for or prayed about, it requires an ending. So if you've been seeing the numbers 999, this is why. There is something, an energy, a person, something standing directly in front of a door that you asked your guides to open. And it feels like something huge, something that can't be avoided. But the great thing about seeing 999 or aligning with this energy is that the vibration of 9 is very spiritual. It often shows up on your path when you have to make a really tough decision around closure. But that decision will always lead to spiritual enlightenment, some type of reward, or some type of advancement in your life or on your journey. So whoever you are, it definitely feels like you're about to pivot or you're about to quantum leap into a completely different life. But before you do that, there's definitely something that needs to be addressed. I'm also getting that something about this year may be very relevant to this reading because universally, we all are navigating through the energies of a 9 cycle. So no one is really exempt from the energy of purging or release that comes with that. But this energy is coming through really, really strong for you, collective. So maybe you've been picking up on this intuitively for a while now. This is somehow connected to your next chapter. Or for some of you, this is a huge indication of how next year is going to play out for you. But what's being highlighted here is that this is a blunt cut, okay? Whatever this is a sharp line of demarcation. And this energy can be tied to a person, a place, or a thing. But however this plays out, I feel like your guides have either been sending you 999 or very direct signs that you can feel within your emotional body so that you can slowly shift your nervous system and this won't be such a shock to you when everything unfolds, okay? Or when this cut is made. Because whatever this is permanent. Let's get the next message here. Okay, so the next message that we have is warrior spirit. And this is exactly why this energy feels so personal, because it is. What's sitting in your blind spot, collective, is a version of you. So if you feel mixed emotions at this time, this is why. It may even feel like this energy is being pulled from a lower timeline or a lower vibration because it's coming from your warrior spirit. This energy is very, very specific. It's the version of you that had to get you through some of the hardest or most painful chapters of your life. This is the version of you who had to fight battles that only you and God knew about. The one who had to put up with all the heaviness, the betrayals, the disrespect. There's a lot of heavy emotion coming through with this card here. But when this version of you shows up, it just means that you're ready. I feel like this is what your guides really want you to know. You've accomplished a lot in your life, or you have checked a lot of things off of your list. But this can feel very confusing for you energetically at this time because your life is not going as your old self thought that it would go. And this is where that heavy emotion is coming from. It's almost as if this version of you is attached to certain people, places, or things that cannot go where you asked or where you prayed to go. And it's very emotional because it may feel like you're parting ways with the strongest version of yourself, your warrior, the one who had to fight for you or who had to set boundaries and learn to put you first. And now you're being asked to part ways with that version of yourself because clearly you have reached a point of no return, collective. You have successfully made it through those chapters. And it's almost like this very no-nonsense warrior spirit of yours is hanging around in your blind spot, anticipating impact, or waiting for the next fight, or the next betrayal, or the next battle. But I keep hearing very, very clearly, it's over. So if you were waiting for a sign that that timeline has expired, I feel like this is the sign. Let's get the next message here. Okay, so the next message that we have is sacred pause. This is very spiritual. Whoever you are going through something extremely spiritual. It may even feel like an initiation for some of you. But if you're resonating with this message so far, I feel like this card here is tapping into the intelligence of your body. It's almost as if this is what your soul is calling for at this time. A moment for you to really integrate this energy before you pivot or before you quantum leap. And because this energy is deeply tied to a version of you, it's really connected to your emotional body. This may manifest as you needing more rest, more alone time, or this may be a little extreme depending on how heavy this is or how much your warrior spirit had to endure. So with this energy here, sacred pause, just because it says sacred doesn't really mean that it will always feel that way or that it will be easy, okay? That's being highlighted. I feel like this card is coming with a powerful disclaimer that while you are being called to take a sacred pause, this may be emotionally intense. Some of you may need to integrate rage. Some of you may need to integrate betrayal or defeat of some kind. Whatever it was that your warrior spirit had to carry so that you can be the person that you are today, this energy may continue to show up emotionally as we close out the year. Because again, there's going to be a sharp line of demarcation from 2025 to 2026. So definitely give yourself some time to do whatever it is that you need to do. And this can be as simple as you calling your energy back, or something that may be extremely helpful and really initiate a powerful release is you writing in great detail every single thing that your warrior had to endure. Because as crazy as this may sound, it's almost like this version of you wants to be acknowledged, okay, before you take this leap or before you quantum leap into this completely different version of yourself. A lot of you are at this phase in your life where you're going through a massive rebirth. You're going to look into the mirror and be unrecognizable to yourself first before, your spiritual team presents you to the world. And there are versions of you who know that they're not going to be able to come with you. So this moment may be very, very heavy because it's almost like you're leaving behind little versions of you, you know? So when you write in detail everything that you had to endure, maybe you could burn it in a release ceremony. Some of you may feel called to keep this as something that you can go back and review. However you feel called to tend to this energy, your higher self will definitely guide you in the right direction. But it's almost as if this is something that you cannot avoid. Because with you being a highly intuitive soul or someone who is just very spiritually inclined, you are going to feel when your energy field is off. You are going to feel when, something needs your attention energetically or spiritually or in the unseen realm. So when you are met with this energy, have a face off. Definitely stand toe to toe with every single version of yourself. And this may manifest at many different phases of your life. But whoever you are, this is your warrior spirit coming through, your fighter, your rider, the person who was there with you through everything. So this is a big deal, okay? This is really emotional energy. And you may notice that the more that you take time to reflect and to really sit with this energy, not to push it away, not to neglect this version of you, you'll notice that the quieter it becomes. Because honestly, the way this energy is coming through, you show up so different in your life today that this version of you may almost feel like it's being abandoned in some way. This is really deep. This is very, very spiritual. And I hope that this is coming through clearly because this is definitely a reading that is not for everyone. This one is aimed at a very specific person. This is for someone who has definitely been asking for a very specific type of guidance. So you will definitely know if this is your reading. But whoever you are, just feel like you are doing the work. You are healing. You are addressing parts of yourself. This is very, very powerful energy, okay? Let's get the next message here. Yeah. The next card that we have is, this is not how the story ends. I just got whoever you are, you went from surviving to thriving, or this is where you're on your way to. And this is such a layered message because you have a very, very powerful story. This energy doesn't just come through for anyone. It really only shows up for people who are extremely dedicated to change. So whoever you are, you have been through the death and rebirth process many, many times. But there's something about this time that just feels very significant. It feels like the version of you that you are becoming, it's going to be a permanent ending to things that you used to tolerate, places that you used to frequent, people that you used to engage with. It's almost as if you're not only having to part ways with a timeline or a group of people. It's so much deeper than that. You are so dedicated to your path that every time you level up or every time you transform, it's so deep and it's so life altering that it feels like a spiritual initiation, because your guides always make sure that you go directly to the source, or you go directly to the root. Because when you look at this spiritually, all of the people, places, or circumstances in your life only exist because of your energy. So the energy in this reading is very, very deep. It's very spiritual. It's very sacred. And this moment may be bittersweet to you, because it's almost as if you're looking over your journey and acknowledging that you've made it very, very far. But intuitively or subconsciously, you know that before you can go out and engage with the external world, you have to go within. You have to meet yourself first. So this is very beautiful energy. So whoever you are, if you have been waiting for a sign that you are facing the right direction, that you are doing the right thing, this is your sign, okay? This reading here is your confirmation. And your guides are clearly extremely proud of you and your progress, and really excited to assist you with this quantum leap, with this new path, whatever it is that you're walking towards at this time in your life. But they definitely want you to take some time to simply honor yourself. And I don't know what you've been through specifically, but for this warrior spirit card to come out, I can only imagine. Okay, this is pulling from certain battles that you've had to fight that people do not know about. You know, things that are so heavy that you've kept between you and God. Yeah, your warrior spirit has some stories to tell. Okay, I just got that clearly. Let's get the last message here. Okay, so the last message that we have is, you are my safe space. Okay, I feel like this is closing out with a message directly from your warrior spirit, which is deeply symbolic for how this entire experience is going to unfold. Because the most important relationship that you will ever have is the one that you have with yourself. And also, the most painful splits or breakups or endings that you will ever have will also come from yourself. Because spiritually, everything has to happen internally. So definitely be gentle with yourself at this time, because this may literally feel like a rebirth. It's almost as if the warrior version of you wants you to know that you are the safe space, that you are the soft landing. So even if this process may feel intense, or you may feel things pulling or poking at your emotional body with certain memories, or certain timelines, it's only because the energy is collapsing and it's kind of, grasping and gripping for attention or for acknowledgement. But this also indicates or highlights how emotionally intelligent you are to be able to hold that. You are somebody who has an incredible amount of capacity. So this card here is really interesting, because when it comes to the present version of you, who you are today, this may also be how you feel about your warrior spirit. That your warrior spirit was your safe space. It's the version of you that is hyper vigilant and that has mastered pattern recognition in order to keep you safe. But through this integration, it's almost like this healed or this different version of you is standing at the forefront. And this warrior version of you can no longer lead, because this is also the version of you that has learned to brace for impact. And the way your energy is coming through, you prayed for a timeline where you wouldn't have to lead with that type of energy. So this is really deep, but it's also really symbolic for where you're headed on your journey. So with this card here, you are my safe space. As you integrate this energy, you're going to realize how much you actually have in your arsenal. All of the lessons and battles and challenges were not in vain, but they definitely required a completely different version of you. And now that you're leveling up and you're ascending, life is going to look and feel a lot different for you. So although you're no longer leading with your warrior spirit, every single thing that you learned on that timeline will be properly integrated so that you can always reach for it if you need to. But again, the way your energy is coming through, you are definitely someone who has a very high level of discernment, or just razor sharp intuition. So you may actually avoid a lot of people, places, and circumstances that would ever have you reach for this energy in the first place. So if you have been seeing 999, a very challenging cycle is over. It's done. And I'm getting clearly that you may see this sign a lot after watching this reading just for further confirmation. I'm also hearing 3 days. So this video may find you exactly 3 days before this shift happens or before this integration process begins to unfold. But when it does, you will definitely be ready for it, because whoever you are a tough cookie, okay? You may walk a very spiritual path. You may be very enlightened, okay? You may be love and light. But underneath all of that is a warrior spirit that had to get you through some very, very tough times. And I feel like you're about to be in this place where you are just simply honoring all of you unapologetically right before you quantum leap into a very, very beautiful timeline. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and end the reading here. If you resonated with this message, please be sure to hit the like button on your way out. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to head over to Patreon just to see what other messages your guides have for you concerning this energy. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.